Lisandro Martinez back to training. Mason Greenwood could be destined for loan, whereas Manchester United drop their interest in a top target, Mason Mount. Welcome to the hotspot. My name is Webb, here with all the major stories and analysis concerning Manchester United. Subscribe and thank you so much for being a part of it. Now, today, the 24th of June, has been a day full of so many updates concerning United, and I'll start off with the big one that came in earlier on with Lisandro Martinez, a defender who is so core and crucial in the Manchester United backline, did return to training with the ball for the first time since April, when he got that terrible injury against Sevilla in the first leg of the Europa League. Now, Lisandro Martinez Lichi is expected to be part of the preseason for Manchester United. That will be starting in about 3 to 4 weeks from now. So certainly this is a massive development for the centre-back, and maybe it does solve a bit of headache for the manager, that is Erik ten Hag, as he is busy on the market hunting for a centre-back who would be a replacement for Martinez in case the injury goes on into the start of the season. But the positive now is that Martinez was pictured back training with the ball. Now, still more news concerning Manchester United. Mason Greenwood is reported to have put his £15,000 per month apartment or house up for rent, that is in Manchester. Now, this to many is a sign that maybe he's about to leave Manchester and go to a different city, and that would only mean he is going to be going out on loan. Remember, he's among the players confirmed to be retained by Manchester United on the final list. He did return to training earlier on in the week as the training alone on a facility that was rented at £85, and of course it was an exciting moment for fans to see Mount, whereas he looked a bit, out of shape, like you would expect. He hasn't been playing football for more than 18 months. It's a good thing seeing him back. But to be honest, I do think Mason Greenwood does deserve to go and rest and try to pick his form again at a club that would give him peace. I don't think it would be ideal for him to return straight into Manchester United, because certainly his mental health would be affected a lot. The fans, certain sections of the fans would be brutal to him. I don't think it would feel at home for him. Maybe him coming back and be reintroduced back into Old Trafford slowly would be the right approach. But the most important thing is for him to come back, but also he has got to be regaining his fitness to be able to play at the topmost level at the club like Manchester United and all the demands that it comes with. Now, away from Mason Greenwood, Mason Mount is the other story. Now, the latest we do get is Manchester United have finally bowed out of their purchase for Mason Mount because they feel what Chelsea is asking for is unfair. Remember, United's third and final bid was of £50 million plus £5 million in add-ons, but Chelsea refused this immediately, saying they want 58 plus 7, and even in a manner for me of a form of disrespect, did offer to meet Manchester United over it and have conversations. That is this coming week that starts tomorrow. Now, certainly this would be for me disrespect of the highest order. It felt like Chelsea, whereas it's United paying, Chelsea felt so important because they've got a player who wants to leave them but has 1 year left on his contract, overpriced, but they are still making Man United beg. But the latest we are getting is that Manchester United have moved on and they have said the offer will remain. Chelsea can take their time and think about it. When they are ready, they can come back to Manchester United and confirm that they do want to proceed and surrender the player, or otherwise United has now resorted, if they are not willing to take what they have offered, they are willing to wait until the end of the summer, because at least there is assurance from Mason Mount that he will not be extending his stay at Chelsea beyond his current contract. There is no contract extension. He has revealed a couple of details concerning how frustrated he is because they didn't seem to show that they trusted and needed him around, so the player feels disappointed in the whole Chelsea project, so there's no way they're going to force him to stay. I do wonder why they're not cashing in on him now. But for us as United fans, we would say this is good riddance, because certainly for me, he was never a top priority. Now, United, speaking of priorities, are looking at going for the goalkeeper, that is Andre Onana. But before him, emerging reports do suggest that United, after failing and giving up on Mason Mount, United are now focused now on trying to get a holding midfielder, and Moises Caicedo is re-emerging in conversations. Now remember, Caicedo is believed to be, I think, in advanced stages, and I do believe, I think, like I've been telling you, I do think he might be headed to Chelsea. He seemed to have agreed personal terms with Chelsea, and Chelsea are preparing to bid to Brighton for the player. But Man United are hoping they can convince a player who is believed to be a fan of United since he was a kid. They are hoping that now they can go and bid for him and have a chance. In fact, in the United bid, again, remember, United has got a lot of players who are surplus to requirements, so they feel they can table some cash and offer some players to Brighton, in thinking maybe that could bid any bid or match any bid that will come through from Chelsea. So that's a bit of the situation. It's not yet concrete, but there are thoughts that United could now focus completely on Moises Caicedo, which for me I think would be a better option in terms of signing. For now, I think it's a more important signing. It should have been one we focused on in the first place earlier on, before rushing and going into Mason Mount and being overpriced by Chelsea. But that's what we are getting. But of course, the other one, again, still concerning Man United and Chelsea, is the goalkeeper Andre Onana. Because as it emerges now, Chelsea did have contact with Andre Onana's representatives. That is about 2 weeks ago. They also inquired about his price from Inter Milan. So they are still keenly watching and monitoring the situation with Onana. They are still trying to first sort the outfield positions, because of course they know they've got a proper backup in Kepa Arrizabalaga. He's an unable backup, but remember, they let go of Mendy, Eduardo Mendy, so certainly they will be looking for a goalkeeper, and Onana is one they are looking at. Remember, Inter Milan prices Onana at about 50 million euros. That's money certainly that Chelsea can easily afford, considering how much money they have made in this window. So they do feel they will take their time. They have inquired, but the advantage Chelsea would have over United is that they have got a proper working relationship with Inter Milan. Remember, Chelsea has players that Inter Milan would be interested in, the likes of Romelu Lukaku, who Milan was bidding for £7 million, which Chelsea refused, of course, on arrival. So there is a lot in between the two. There is a good partnership between the two parties, and maybe that can be a threat to United if they don't move fast. But United are believed to be contemplating tabling a bid for Andre Onana very soon to try and sort the goalkeeping situation, because as it is, David De Gea doesn't seem to be interested in extending or in bowing down to the new terms offered to him by Manchester United. Of course, we are still talking the Manchester United news and whatever is going on with the club. I do remind you to subscribe if you haven't, as we do build on to 2K followers. Now, again, just to give my general perspective of the whole situation at Manchester United, you want to believe now that United has got to be moving so fast after deciding and making the right decisions to halt the fire when it comes to Mason Mount. United should be now focusing on getting the right players, and it's good to hear now that they're talking about goalkeepers. In Onana, a bid should be made soon. £42 million, that's 50 million euros, is money that Manchester United should be able to afford. You feel it would be solving an important problem at the club, other than them going and wasting 3 bids on a player who is not so needed at the club. I do struggle to get what Mason Mount was going to add to the Man United outfit. That important addition he would bring that we couldn't wait for until his contract ends and we get him for free. But yeah, that's the bit of the situation. Now remember, we seem to be failing in the chase, in the pursuit of Adrien Rabiot. So Manchester United are now concentrating on getting a central midfielder, and the one being focused on, according to reports now, is Moises Caicedo. I don't think we need to go back and forth, and I've spoken about him here before. Caicedo would be a brilliant signing. Whereas I don't really think United would be able to get him, considering how Chelsea is far ahead. I do think we've got to bid for him. I do think that would be a more sensible bid than the Mason Mount bid we've made. I do think the idea of having Casemiro and Moises Caicedo playing at the same team, starting in the same team, I think for me would make United a more complete squad, and would be able to strengthen and match teams like Manchester City and Arsenal going forward. But well, let's wait and see if that bid is going to be tabled. Of course, away from that, there is also, of course, the striking role. I told you that this week we do expect that Manchester United will be bidding for a striker, and most likely that's going to be Rasmus Højlund. Now, Højlund is still a top target. He remains a top target for Erik ten Hag, whereas he's getting increasingly frustrated with all the other bids he's making, the players he's interested in. Well, there is hope that at least the Atalanta forward is one who will directly want to come in and join Man United. But the problem is stubborn Atalanta might want to follow the Chelsea way and try to drag things around. That's why Man United do want to make things move so fast, so that by the time the preseason is on, at least most of the transfers are dealt with. But there was a rumor that came through earlier concerning Andre Onana, that he was changing his agency to drop the person that United got in contact with. Well, that rumor has been rebuffed on arrival. It is not true. He does have the same agent, and United are still having, like, whereas I mentioned that Chelsea have inquired about the availability of Onana and his price, well, United are still taking the lead because they had conversations with the player and his agency, and the player seems to be interested in joining Manchester United. So that's a bit of the situation concerning United and the transfers. Give me your opinions in the comment section, and we do continue to follow all the updates as they do come. But the biggest news for me, someone who knows how much we struggle without Lisandro Martinez, is knowing that Martinez is back training on the ball, and certainly that can only mean good news for the Red Devils. Subscribe to the Hotspot. My name is Webb. Chat later.